Have a spectator give you a deck of cards. After they've done this, have them think of 3 cards. Have them take those 3 cards out of the deck and write them down on a piece of paper and lay the 3 cards down on the table face down. After they've done this, shuffle the deck of cards and make 2 sets of 3 cards face down on the table, and ask the spectator to place their deck next to yours. Tell the spectator that you would like them to play the shell game and move the decks of cards around. Give them an example. Tell them that you're going to turn around so you can't see. Turn around while they're doing this and ask them when they're finished to stack up all 3 decks in any order they would like. Once they're done, turn back around. Explain to the spectator that you're going to be playing a game in which you'll be revealing cards and placing them face up on the table. Tell them to keep their very best poker face, because you will be observing their facial expressions carefully, trying to see if any of the cards are theirs. Give them an example. Explain to them that you're going to make it even more difficult. You're going to deal out 3 more decks of cards and have them do the shell game and restacking like they did previously with your back turned once more. Once they are finished doing this, turn back around and tell them you're going to do the big reveal now. Remind them to keep their best poker face. Add one more level of challenge by placing the deck of cards behind your back while you're revealing the cards. But for this demonstration, we'll just keep them up front. Remove 1 card at a time and place it face up on the table. Have the spectator present you with a deck of cards. This is a card in which you'll know nothing about. Have them select 3 cards that they've thought about and take them out and write them down on a piece of paper. At no point do you ever need to know these cards. That's not important. We're going to use the same cards that we use for the performance. The main point about this trick is that you need to discover 2 key cards, and this is how you do it. When shuffling the deck of cards, shuffle them with a normal ripple shuffle. Then turn them sideways. Place your thumb on the bottom card and 3 or 4 fingers on the back and pull those cards downward. And while you're doing that, you're going to obviously see the bottom card, and just shift the top card a little bit in a quick motion so you can see what the top card is. Pull the rest of the cards out and throw them in front of those 2 cards. Do it quickly and discreetly, like this. Keeping in mind those 2 key cards, put out 2 decks of cards of 3, and then have the spectator place their cards next to yours face down. Tell them to do the shell game while your back is turned and stack up the cards. Once this is done, turn back around. Keeping in mind the 2 key cards, you'll be peeking at 2 different spots within the deck. Peek number 1 will be at the bottom of the deck. Peek number 2 will be the 3rd card from the top. The bottom peek will be easy. At any point, just kind of move the cards to the side and take a look. And then explain to the spectator that you're going to be playing this game where you're going to be revealing cards and watching their face. Remind them to keep their best poker face. But what you're really doing is trying to get a look at the 3rd card. And it's very blatant, but they think you're just giving them an example. So, just pull the 3rd card off from the top and place it face up on the table, looking at their face, showing them that you're going to be doing this for real later, but you're actually just looking at that card. That's peek number 2. Now you're done with the peeks. During this time, you're going to be asking yourself this question: is this my key card? That's all you need to ask yourself. So peek number 1 at the bottom, if the answer is no, if you say this is not my key card, then you're done. Because you know at the final end of this trick, the spectator's card will be in the first position of every series of 3 cards. And I'll explain that at the end. So at the first peek, the bottom card is not one of your key cards. Then their cards will be in the first position of every series of 3. If you go to peek number 2, which is the 3rd card from the top, and you ask yourself, is this one of my key cards? And the answer is no at this point. Then you'll know that the spectator's card at the end of the trick will be in the 3rd position of every series of 3. If both peeks were your key cards, then you'll know at the end of the trick, the spectator's cards will be in the 2nd position of all series of 3. And again, this will all be explained at the end. This first peek is actually my key card, so I know to move on to the next step. The second peek, I ask the question, is this my key card? And the answer here is no. So that means the spectator's cards will be in the 3rd position at the end of the trick, the 3rd position of all series of 3. And just as a reminder, if both of those were my key cards, then we would know that the spectators would be in the 2nd position. But in this case, the answer was no on the 2nd peek. So the spectator's card will be in the 3rd position of all series of 3. At this point, tell the spectator that you're going to make it more confusing by dealing out 3 more stacks of cards. 3 stacks of 3. And then have them once again do the shell game and stacking like they did previously. Turn around while they're doing this. You'll already know what position their cards will end up in. When they're done, turn back around and explain to the spectator that you're going to be revealing cards and watching their face carefully to see if their expression changes. Tell them to keep their best poker face. Make it more interesting by putting the deck of cards behind your back while you're doing this. What you're actually doing is just counting. Since we know now that their positions for their cards will be in the 3rd position, just count down 3 from the top, pull out the first card, and then 3 more, and then the final card of the deck will be theirs. Because remember, their card is always the 3rd in each series of 3. If you do this right in front of them, then just kind of switch it up. Just kind of look like you're searching around randomly. Just make sure you're taking the 3rd card in every series of 3. Thank you very much, and please like and subscribe.